It is commonly said that a black cat that crosses your path brings bad luck. Maybe, instead of bringing bad luck, it is just going from one place to another. This is superstition. Today, it is difficult to draw the line between superstition and spirituality, especially in the modern context of science and technology. Singapore is one of my more favorite cities in the world. But what is the paranormal zone doing here in Singapore? There are respect and faith in various positive spiritual practices from a multicultural background. Stay with me and find out more. Singapore is a modern city that is still rich in its culture and traditions, and a peaceful home to many different spiritual beliefs. In this episode, we will learn more about the influence of Chinese culture and beliefs, New Age, and Thai practices in Singapore. I've spoken to Master Jave Wu, who is a young Taoist priest and practitioner that started his spiritual journey when he was only 5, having also grown up in a family of devotees and practitioners. What are his views about the spiritual status of Singaporeans in general?
A lot of youngsters actually approach quite a lot of priests or masters to learn so-called some of the Taoist skills in order to understand why and so-called certain things happen. Now they actually don't just follow, they want to find an answer from something. For the so-called elders or the older generation, actually they are more open to share with the youngster as compared to the past.
Another common belief in the Chinese culture is that of spirit mediumship or trance taking, used commonly to give the community healing, blessings, protection, and consultation. It is commonly known as tang ki in Hokkien. What is behind these practices, and why is it until today, in our modern times, it is still so popular? To understand trance or tang ki more, I met Suen Jiang Dian to speak to Master Tan, the oracle who takes trance of Zai Zai, a childlike deity who apparently learned from 53 enlightened Sanskrit masters based on the Buddhist scriptures. But is the ritualistic trance itself a type of superstition? When did you develop this connection between you and this deity, Zai Zai?
It started from 1989. My father was a medium himself. I used to be his helper when he was having his sessions. And then one day, I suddenly fainted. When I regained consciousness, I was already in a trance at the temple.
When you look outside, Singapore is also one of the most developed ASEAN countries and so modern. Yet, this Taoist practice continues through time. Can you explain to me, is there a strong element of superstition involved?
Because if you are talking about superstition, many people still do not know what praying or worshipping of gods is. Of course, they come here to solve their personal problems. So, this is an opportunity to also impart knowledge and teachings of Buddhism and Taoism to them so that they can be better people.
I understand that you as Master Tan does not remember what took place during the period of the trance. Am I correct?
I want to be impartial so that I can give the right advice. I do not know what happened during each trance.
Would you be able to tell me what are the normal things that devotees will ask Zai Zai when they come to see him?
You have to ask the devotees themselves.
Back in 10 years before, to believe in a God is actually the connectivity of the feelings. That how you're able to relate how he helps you. Because he has been helping me a lot, and I take it as a repaying back by assisting him. I have faith and I'm devoted. I'm not superstitious.
The procedures of trance taking are filled with beliefs and rituals. They are not deemed to be a superstition, but rather a colorful display of ancient Chinese culture and belief. You must have got to go through some rituals to keep yourself intact.
It is a very spiritual ritual that I have to go through. First of all, I have to cleanse myself. And because a medium is a vehicle of celestial energies, my body has to be ready for it.
I am always curious about the blood rituals and body-piercing acts performed during trances. Many may not understand the purposes behind these practices and why is it still relevant today. What is the truth behind these rites?
A lot of people, they will think of the superstitious way or buying a hope.
People, when they practice a particular religion, they seldom really understand the purpose behind it.
During many religious festivities that are celebrated worldwide in this modern era, acts of penance like body piercing are observed as a cultural ceremony that does not undermine the growth of civilization. But what is the rationale of this rite from a Chinese cultural perspective?
Far before that, actually, we only use spiritual objects like white sticks or sedan chair. But only after around 200 years ago, we started to use our body to become a medium.
Before we engage in a ritualistic practice, knowledge and research are important because we do not want to become over-reliant or superstitious. In a modern country like Singapore, it is important to remain open-minded and not just follow blindly, as explained by Mr. Victor Yue. Victor, can you tell me a little bit more what you find intriguing about the Chinese superstitious practices here in Singapore?
Many people will kind of take everything as superstitions, but to me is what you do not know, and you don't say it's superstition, right? So based on that kind of understanding, if anybody says there's a superstition, then I will try to find out. Anywhere I go with open mind.
As I explore deeper into the influence of spiritual beliefs in modern Singapore, I met with two spiritual practitioners who gave me rather profound explanations of their understanding. How did this Thai influence become so strong here in Singapore?
Maybe they will pray for business, they will pray for work. Because their life is so stressful, it can help you in relaxation. Your mind, when you pray, you can calm down.
Why do people depend on a pendant Isn't that superstitious to actually depend on a pendant or an object and say that, you put it on, then you have a good life?
We must not be superstitious, which is, but a lot of people, they will think of the superstitious way of buying a hope. There's one customer, she told me, he said, I came in, I know I'm very down luck already. I can't find a job, anything. The only way, maybe I buy an amulet. And we have to work hard. You don't just wear an amulet and you gain everything, yeah.
For the past 10 years, Ambika practiced as a spiritual healer in Singapore. She offers guidance to her clients through New Age methods like energy healing, crystal therapy, and even the ancient art of divination known as rune stone readings.
Well, I feel superstition is something that's integral to the human condition, honestly. I mean, technology, yes, we've advanced so much in terms of social status or creature comforts and all that, but man as an animal is by nature superstitious.
And why do you say that?
Most of the time, people, when they practice a particular religion, they seldom really understand the purpose behind it. It's about safety, isn't it? You do certain rituals because you want to protect yourself.
And that links to fear, right? Because the lack of safety and security is fear.
And survival. These are the three, I think, primary motives behind any form of superstition. Ultimately, it's about being able to take care of your family, do well in your job. So I believe that is where also the superstition comes in. That if you don't do something in a particular way, you will fail or you'll be punished. And superstition is, I think, linked to the idea of luck.
As explained by Ambika, we may be drawn to being superstitious when we are fearful. Therefore, we must be clear and sincere in our spiritual practice to avoid this trap. We can believe in something, but it should not cloud our better judgment. One of the most interesting ancient Chinese practices that are highly paranormal are ghost marriages. It is claimed that during the Han Dynasty, when a young man is engaged to a girl, and should he pass away before that, the girl must still marry him. This type of spiritual matrimony is often frowned upon today.
The guy might pass away. The girl will still have to marry in to the family. So no choice, they have to marry to a tablet or to a rooster. This girl actually will be like a living widow.
Is there a strong element of superstition involved?
What you do not know, and you don't say it's superstition.
Now they actually don't just follow. They want to find an answer from something. For the newer generation, we do have this ghost marriage, which is actually spirits and spirits. For Southeast Asia or for Singapore, we use paper tablets to represent the guy or the girl, or some we have those paper figurines. Some souls actually they are quite young. They pass on with that type of desire, which is that I'm still young, I've yet to get married. So this must actually will follow them.
Is the rationale behind a marriage between two spirits reasonable? It is said that the deceased would appear in the dreams of a family member to inform them that he wishes to marry and to ask them to find a spirit bride or groom. And when the time is right, the spirit spouse will appear and a spiritual wedding is conducted.
This one we need to go through the priest, so-called priests like me, will conduct the reporting. So we do have the cert for them. After the so-called the stamp, these two souls are officially married.
At this point, I feel that the lines between fantasy, logic, and reason have blurred, especially when it comes to ghosts, spirits, and the traditional beliefs about these phantoms. The next case that I came across is very much like a dramatic movie, which involves a spirit and a human. To some, this is probably more of a fiction than reality. What do you think? 4 years ago, Jay Slim moved into a new house. Everything was fine, and then one night she claimed that strange things started to happen.
When I started to sense that when I was sleeping that something, just someone watching, kind of feeling sixth sense or your goosebumps, which just starts to have then a sense of fear. There's one night, that particular night, that I was actually sitting over here in my living room. I was playing my mobile phone, watching the TV, so it was like a very strong smell came. My family members all had sense or smell of her. I decided to go and went to see Master Chu. So he actually came out and she says that actually there's a spirit inside the house. So I was like,
So now that the whole family has been convinced by her presence, what was the next step?
So Master Chu suggested that we perform a ritual for her because she was actually here longer than I was. I was the intruder because we actually bought a second-hand flat. We actually performed a coffin ritual that we sent her off.
Was that effective?
It was like effective in the first few weeks, but after that came back the smell again.
Despite the ritual that you had conducted, the lady spirit still came back. Can you explain how is that?
For her case, we found that no matter what we do, every time we send her away, a few days later, she can detect the spirit present in the house. Our mentor suggests that we give her a place in the home then to see whether able to do a balancing of the energy inside the house.
So on what basis that giving her a place in the house was the solution?
When we are doing that, we were not sure too. We have tried all methods, unless we wanted to destroy her, but this is not what we wanted. She had not done any great harm to their family. So throughout the negotiation, then we say, okay, we trial. And during the trial and error, we give some offering to the spirit.
So you were resistant to her presence in the first place, and now she's become a resident and part of the family with you.
Yes, correct.
Have you seen her? Does she have a face with you?
I only know that she's a lady, but because I did tell her before that, don't let me see the 3D kind of version because I can't accept it.
When I first arrived at Jay Slim's apartment, I did wonder if the accounts of the female spirit told by Jay Slim were true. However, I have decided to investigate this case objectively and not conclude if the lady spirit was present or if the method prescribed by Master Jerome was effective. When it comes to ghosts and spirits, the boundaries between culture, spirituality, and superstition are easily blurred. In hindsight, I noticed that I did ask for permission from the spirit in residence to film at the location. Was I being superstitious, or was it simply an act of respect? In this episode, we have learned that spirituality and ritualistic influences are strong guiding principles for a multicultural and modern country like Singapore. It is good to have faith, respect, and trust in spiritual beliefs, But we must remember never to be blinded by the unseen forces until we lose our sense of reason. Like I always say, what we see may not be real, and what is real we may not see.